this is really cool for me. You guys are two of our favorite partners, and obviously you come from amazing firms. The goal of this conversation is to go broad. I want you guys to share a little bit more about yourselves. We're going to go into a little LTV stuff. We'll talk a little Klaviyo stuff. We'll talk some strategy things. Hopefully we get some big disagreements about email important, email's not important, something like that. Okay. But I first want to start with proper introductions.
Yeah.
Carla, I'd like to start with you. A little bit about, like, definitely want to hear more about Within and what you guys do in your ICP, right? But also, like, your background, how you got into this role. Like, give us, please.
Yeah, so I'm Carla Donahue. I'm head of lifecycle and retention at Within. Within is a full performance marketing agency that really kind of got its start in paid media. About 5 years ago, our founder was like, we really need to make sure we're offering clients full funnel. So they built out an owned media kind of department, and I oversee email and SMS and loyalty. This is my very first agency. I hated agencies. When I worked in-house, I thought all of them were trying to scam me out of time and money. I never felt that I was getting the value of what I was paying. And so when I joined Within, one of the big things that I made a big stink about is being really transparent and doing retention-based agreements. So before I joined Within, I was at JCPenney's during COVID and bankruptcy and store closures. So had a lot of fun experience to draw from there. And then before that, I spent about 10 years at Sally Beauty. So very deeply rooted in legacy, heritage, value brands. And I'm really excited to kind of bring that point of view to the conversation.
I definitely grew up going to JCPenney a lot. I ran my first startup was a watch company. Like we ran, and JCPenney knocked us off. They didn't knock us off. There was a company who knocked us off. That was my one and only legal battle. And I still love JCPenney. They wouldn't have known any better. We were such a rinky-dink brand. It was great.
For a lot of communities, like it was the only big department store in my hometown. So like it had a salon. I got my prom dress there. Like it was kind of like a full circle moment for me when I joined.
Oh, cool. By the way, we only bring on super trustworthy partners. So
okay.
Flowium will do you right. Within will do you right. So this is good. Andriy, please take it away with the little intro.
Sure. So my name is Andriy Boychuk. I'm originally from Ukraine, but for the last 21 years I live here, and I started this agency back in 2017. It was the agency of one, and to be fully transparent, since English is my second language, I didn't know that such an agency or such a business model existed. I was trying to survive, and I was freelancing, and then I built the company. We're right now close to 80 employees. A lot of here in North America, US and Canada, but also like a lot of all over the world. We are specializing on retention, email marketing, SMS, loyalty, but this is our kind of bread and butter. This is our expertise, working with brands like True Classic, Dr. Squatch, Swoon, and other bigger brands. And you were asking also, I believe, about ICP, or it was before the
ICP, but it sounds like you work with the big guys. But
we do also have a bunch of those are brands that people mostly recognize, but we also work with many startup brands. Our sweet spots, brands who start at 5 million. We like to work with brands in automotive industry. Is probably the best, one of the best. For us, but we do have a lot of brands are in fashion apparel industry and CPG.
One of the things I very much appreciate about both of your agencies is the breadth of what you cover. So I appreciate you kind of like walking people through that. I think there's, in my experience, a lot of people say agency, and it's like, cool, I know an agency. It's like, well, what's the job to be done? So it is very helpful. Okay, cool. Carla, I want to jump in.
Yeah.
It's been 1 month to the day since Klaviyo changed their pricing formally. Are your clients freaking out? Have they figured out that this isn't a big deal? Are you any like tips for people who are still a little stressed? Yeah, I'd love for you to just jump in.
I actually think it's a really good thing that the pricing has been changed, and here's why. It's probably a hot take, but it creates the need to really do some purging. And I think that's the thing that I'm most excited about, is that there's a second lever for me to utilize when we talk about list hygiene. We recently, for a very big beauty brand, did a migration to Klaviyo. And it's hard to emotionally say goodbye to 400,000 people who haven't clicked or opened an email in 5 years, because that feels like a big number. But now with the pricing increases, and not necessarily increases, but just modifications to Klaviyo, we're able to really make a business case for suppressing and removing a lot of those people we're not communicating for. So I think it's been a really good thing. It's given our marketers on the brand side more leverage to have conversations with their leadership, to say, like, let's not keep paying for people who we can't message to and target to. So 10 out of 10 for me. I think it's a good move.
I love it. Andriy, how are your clients doing?
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with Carla. It's amazing opportunity for us to clean up their list. They now listening, and like now they are agreeing to implement that sunset flow. Before it was like, no, we don't need that.
Here's the thing that we've been playing around with that I'm curious for your take, because like you guys know the space so much better. I never introduced myself. Ran a brand for a while, was a very bad brand market, like a good brand marketer, a terrible retention marketer is how I put it. I like to joke on every customer call that I was the founder who was like, Carla has not clicked on our last 15 emails, but she's 100% clicking on the 16th one. This is going to be the right email. I'm definitely a person who oversent. I'm very aware of that. And then, started a shipping company, was at Loop Returns for a while, and yada, yada, like been in this ecosystem for a while. Orita, the idea is like we're an outsourced data science team. We partner obviously with you guys and a bunch of agencies and Klaviyo to help brands kind of get the right list. The thing that we have really started to play around with is the power of manual suppressions within Klaviyo. And so it is very rare. And then if a brand is just asking us outright, should we clean the list? Our answer is think much more about optimization, not cleaning. If you have active profiles, you're paying for them. But if you put them into manually suppressed, you're not paying for them. And there is a non-zero chance that at some point the person visits the website and you can go reactivate them. As long as you're back in. That's right. Like you'd never pull in the 400,000 people you're talking about, but like there might be 40 in there. And it's a free way because like the Klaviyo event stream is so powerful. And so we think a lot about that is like tighten your list, improve your deliverability. A lot of the people maybe on that list who would have been interested didn't see your email because it was hitting their spam to begin with. Anyway, that's more how we play. That is like it's not like a very technical way, but it's like you need to hit the Klaviyo API to do this in a way that like is hard. Nobody can do this like by hand.
Well, and like we were talking about earlier, I think the sunset flow is a perfect example of that because it can automatically suppress you, right? Especially in Klaviyo, you can have that rule be once you've gone through the flow, if you don't engage, then you're automatically suppressed. But let's say, you get a retargeting ad, you come to the site and you purchase something or you re-engage. That way, Klaviyo automatically brings you back in and you don't have to do like a monthly sifting through to find out. And I think that built-in logic is really helpful. It's almost like a purgatory that you just sit in.
You get a new prospect. It's in your sweet spot, right? Big, small, whatever it is, right? And they're like, hey, we're going to give you access to everything you want for 2 hours. You can interview our team. You can look at all of our stats. We'll give you every single campaign we send. You can see the creative. How do you spend that 2 hours to understand, one, like what the problems might be with the business, but I think much more excitingly, like what the opportunities are? And then Carla, obviously going to bring the same question to you, please.
I mean, basically we start with, if we have access, we mostly work with 90% of our clients are on Klaviyo. The rest are, so I'll be covering Klaviyo. So we log in the general dashboard to see at least how their revenue spread it. I know it's very attribution, we can argue about attribution all day long, but the rule, like generic, like we want to see how the attribution split it between campaigns and flows, and based on that we can assume where the issue or the opportunity is. If they have like 90% revenue attributed to campaigns, we know that their flows need some additional love. So based on that, we then go in the direction either campaigns or flows. If it's flows, first we start with we're checking if they have the fundamental customer life cycle journey, like abandoned cart, browser abandoned, welcome, and so forth. And then also we go to like metrics to see what other tools they have, or actually we go to their website, see what other tools they have and maybe not connected to Klaviyo. It's one. And second, if it's connected to Klaviyo, they don't have email marketing around it. The common issue that I see, people have loyalty program, but they have zero email marketing about loyalty program, and it's a big mess, because you can get, and Carla, you said you're doing loyalty as well. You can probably see it as well, that if you add email marketing to loyalty program, your numbers will go through the roof.
Oh my God.
Andrew, or Carla, we'll keep going down this. This is awesome. I'm gonna but very quickly, my default assumption, and again, it has been a while since I've been an operator with loyalty programs, and there are so many different ones and so many good ones. My default assumption was they all message the customer. So you're saying like there might be something in the program, but it needs to tie.
No, and it's not always on. I think that's the big thing that Andriy and I are saying, is it's not just flows. Like obviously you want flows to be at least 60% of your revenue, not your campaigns. But one of the ways that we work with our partners when they have loyalty is everybody wants to protect margin, right? So utilize your loyalty program as that incentive, and don't just have them in dedicated email sends. So build in, we call them kind of like a meter or metric at the top. Sephora obviously is the leader in this. We all wish we could do what they do. But build it in so that people know how far away they are for a point, if they have a reward to reuse. And just do a small little live text banner at the top of every marketing send that's personalized, so that you're always using your loyalty as your motivator. And then if you don't have a loyalty program, right, use your minimum shipping threshold, use your sign up for loyalty or SMS as your motivator. And that way you're protecting your margin and not getting too dependent on discounts, but you're still using that personalization.
Okay, Andriy, I want to finish very quickly the thread, and then Chelsea, I'm going to go to you, and then we'll come back to like kind of the topic. So you spent now 90 minutes, and you've looked, you figured out Flow's campaigns, you've looked at their technology, figured out what's tied, what they're doing with loyalty, what's tied. Is there anything else you're looking at? If you're spending time with their team, is there anything about like the team's mentality you're diving into, or what else?
Oh, so I have access to their team?
Yeah, you got it all, man. They're so excited to work with you. They're like, anything you need, you can meet with our family and interview them, like whatever you need.
Yeah, if you add a team and all those discussions, you need more than 2 hours.
No?
Yes.
Unfortunately. No, I mean, just let's finish with the ESP. So
Please.
I also go to benchmark to see how they're doing in comparison to other brands, and also going to campaigns to just quickly check their benchmark. What I see lately for all brands that we are prospecting and auditing, the click rate for campaigns is extremely low. There's multiple reasons what's causing this, but the most what I see, they don't do any exclusions. They do exclusion. Oh, they purchased in the past. Oh, they purchased a T-shirt or something else. But they don't do exclusion based on like spam traps, exclusion unengaged users. So basically, all about bounced. All those deliverability things that people need to take care of it. Why? I assume majority of it's not rocket science to click and send the email, but properly set up from technical perspective. That's why you need some kind of expert in-house or to hire outside.
I love it. All right, I'm going to interrupt for a minute, Chelsea, because I want to bring
Aaron,
Hi, thank you for joining. I'd love for you to do a quick intro of yourself. I'd love for you to give a super high level primer of Sunny Road, and like who you serve, and then I'm gonna jump back to Carla. Carla, I want to hear anything else that you do with those hours, and then we'll keep going. So Chelsea, please intro yourself.
I love it. It's so good to see you guys. So, my name's Chelsea Jones. I'm the co founder of Sunny Road, which is a Shopify Plus agency that specializes in making the most beautiful converting websites on the internet. We are top Klaviyo partners at the platinum level. We do everything from UX, UI design and strategy to CRO retention and growth. So think the whole organic piece of the house. And the whole name behind Sunny Road came from, I ran an agency for 11 years, and my business partner, Drew Himmel, ran his for 17 years, Fireside Digital and CNR Co. We have merged to be Sunny Road because exactly like what I just experienced, how many times have we had problems with tech, right? Where we want to throw our phone or do something or have an issue. We want to make this a better experience. We want to make e-commerce like a journey that you enjoy. And also building the house should be something that is a good one that you feel like is beautiful and converting at the same time. So what we love with Orita is really figuring out how we can optimize emails and the flows for making it more from a personalized story experience and telling a story that also then converts, because enough with all the noise of how much tech debt we kind of have, and it's more about simplification and making it easier for customers and brands to understand.
Chelsea, I'm going to grab that snippet and put it on our website. So thank you.
You're welcome.
It's wonderful. I'm very, very glad you're here. We're obviously talking about like how we can help brands maximize. And I think the design piece, we don't spend a lot of time talking about that. We at Orita don't. We're like a data team, and you do not want us designing anything. We get to work with obviously amazing partners on that. And so we'll come to that in a minute. Carla.
Yes, if I
Andriy did a mediocre job of introducing what he would do. No, what would you do differently? What would you double click on?
So I think Andriy covered a lot, but I would say if you asked me this question 6 months ago, it would have been completely different. So the big thing for us right now that we're really focused on is all of the changes in Apple Inbox and Gmail. So all of the AI that's been introduced to do the summaries, and not only the summaries, but starting to organize by engagement and not time of send, is something that we've been really aggressively monitoring. So in addition to what Andriy said, like obviously look at the campaigns and some of those things. I actually added a few things from his notes to my list. We really spend a lot of time with the actual functionality of the email. A lot of our clients are still really struggling with live text. Especially how to marry the branding side and wanting to maintain their creative kind of look and feel. And that's one of the things with Klaviyo that we love is with some, sophisticated coding, you can have live text on backgrounds and images. And so we right now are focusing not only on if there's live text, but what's the optimal live text for the summary feature. That's in Gmail. And so that's one of the things that we do a lot of testing on, just to see, right, what are those keywords that get popped and pulled out, so that summary in Gmail, and then how do we make sure, right, we all know delivered does not mean placed in the right box in the right tab. And so, working obviously with Orita on the right segmentation helps to ensure that inbox placement, but what else can we do from an engagement standpoint to ensure that there's still clicks and we're driving to that next best action? If it's not sign up, purchase, is it follow on social, is it sign up for SMS? So those are the things that would look at if I only had a few hours that we really focus on.
Carla, that's awesome. Maybe one comment and then one follow on question. The deliverability and inbox placement discussion, it's really popped up a lot in the last couple of weeks, where we're getting on calls with brands who literally one has like a 0.17% click rate, one has like a 0.4, and they're like, but it's cool because deliverability is high. And it is very apparent to us that the way they're defining deliverability is the Klaviyo deliverability score, which is like a very good metric to tell you direction how you're going.
Yeah.
But it's based on Klaviyo's metrics, not inbox placement, which means if you don't have a lot of negative events like spam and unsubscribe, you might look good. But going back to the comment from before, it is likely a lot of people who would click unsubscribe literally aren't seeing your email because you're not in the inbox, which is fine. The bigger problem is a lot of people who really want to hear from you also aren't seeing your email because you're not in their inbox.
Exactly. So we do two things. One, we've really been aggressive about, especially Gmails, everyone's kind of hot box. So one of the things we worked with a delivery expert from SendGrid, so sharing out some news, is that you do 3-hour block throttles of your Gmail most engaged. So instead of just separating out your Gmail and sending to them, you send to 7-day clicks, and then 3 hours later you send to 15 to 25-day clicks, and then you keep kind of going. So you're pacing yourself with Gmail and saying like, no, look, right, Chelsea and Andre really are people who click and engage. So let's let these in. And then we say, okay, Aaron and Carla, they usually click at least once a month, let them in. And so you're kind of reintroducing yourself to Gmail. It's a pain in the butt to deploy, but it really does make a difference. And then we also partner with Inbox Monster, who I think has a really good kind of agnostic view.
I literally think my next call is with Inbox Monster.
Awesome.
Not even kidding, with Mike. Okay, awesome. Chelsea, I want to go to you for a minute. There is a question embedded that I'm curious from all three of you, but around like what technologies are you using for the personalization, or for, Carla, you mentioned like the like given AI summaries, like how you're actually seeing everything that'll happen. Chelsea, if you want to answer that, you're welcome to. If not, and you want to talk more about like, okay, cool, we figured out deliverability. How do we think about optimizing the content and the creative, and like talk more about that, and even like the site experience, because like getting people to click, but if there's a bad purchase funnel, like where do you guys go in that regard, and what are some like not obvious tips, but like things that'll be really high impact for our listeners?
So I love this so much because so many people, when it comes to personalization, I have a view that like online leads everything, like, and how personalized you can get it is what's going to give you that higher conversion rate and that whole full cycle like focus. But where a lot of people go wrong is they just don't test it themselves as a user experience. We have so many clients that you're like, do you realize you're actually sending them for a review before they get a product? Like, so of course you're having these like way too many emails happening, way too much clutter going on. It's just like, honestly, I think it's just like wellness practices, which is one of our verticals, right? We, as a holistic being, like, what are you doing to like get up early and work out and sunshine and food? It's the same thing in the way that you look at your email flows and your touch points. To personalize it, you have to simplify first and foremost, and then you have to tell a story that's better. I would much rather have a flow that had 3 emails that were really personalized, really tapped in, really engaging in this entire structure than the 10 that you're trying to spam out that just feels like it's noise. And I think the biggest thing that people don't realize, that now we have all the tools at our fingertips, which is amazing. What we use Orita for, I love that you said Inbox Monster, like we can personalize a lot of things. And then we use Figma to do all UX UI design for Klaviyo and for the email flows. And we can now bespoke animations and GIFs and different things that we can embed that weren't in usability or deliverability before that now are. And so I can actually get super creative and be like, hey, Aaron, I heard you have a dog. Do you want to have, like, we have a pet company, like, for example, do you want to have a new chew toy for your puppy or something? Or like, we can get like so personalized based on the data that we're collecting. And I think companies that are not doing that are just literally losing out on millions of dollars, because the personalized scenario is where you're actually seeing those like true conversions happen, and you're getting that better, longer lifetime customer value too.
I love it. One of the things we think a lot about on personalization is like, and I love that we're seeing both sides of this, is if in a year the CEO of Tracksmith is going to send me a personalized email, or like with a video from him that says, hey, Aaron, I saw you visited the site 6 months ago and this was out of stock, something. And that is awesome, but not if I don't see it. And so it is like this combination of both sides of it is like, it's not, oh, you got to do one or the other. Anyway, Andriy, I want to give the floor to you to chat a little bit about this, or any technologies that you're playing with. Yeah.
Actually, I have a follow-up question for Chelsea, if you don't mind. Like, I'm just curious. You said I would rather have fewer emails, but well crafted and more personalized versus more emails, and we constantly have this debate in our agency. On one side, totally agree with you from like branding perspective, personalization, and those personalized emails do tends to have higher conversion rate. But if you look in people's inboxes, it's like you driving on a highway and there's like billboards. And if you have more billboards with your ads, like there's more recognition. So we kind of like the second, like what we are debating, like is less better or more is better? And also,
I love this question, because it really depends on your ICP. It depends how big you want to grow and why, and brand.
Yeah,
if you're smaller, usually more noise is better just to get you even seen. If you're larger, you want to simplify and personalize it, because your brand is now going to be affected if you spam anybody.
Yeah, because like we work with brands, we are sometimes emailing twice a day.
Ooh.
Ooh,
And,
yeah. No.
And it's like, You said a lot. We used to work with one like very big wine company, and we're sending 4 emails a day.
Was it
And
impactful?
if what?
Yeah.
Did
What
it
was the
work?
data?
That they like if they drop one email, they send three. It's like the revenue decreased dramatically.
Insane.
So it's for them. It was, but wine is it's like such a universal thing. I mean, unless you don't drink wine, but they were growing their list a lot with giveaways, and they were sending 4 emails a day.
Andrew, let
After
me,
you buy, but after you buy, they stop sending you as many emails. So,
maybe it's a silly question, but for that brand, because one thing we run into a lot is people look at attribution as they're like Klaviyo number go up, that's the thing, but they're not looking at incrementality of, hey, yes, we actually still got that revenue, but it just doesn't show up in Klaviyo. How do you think about that, if at all? And then obviously you want to hear from Carla and Chelsea too, but I don't know if you remember from that brand or anybody else.
sorry, I missed
Sorry,
it.
I muddled my question. A lot of what we see is if you are a CRM manager, your job is to make the number go up. And the metric that
Yes.
you are gold on is your Klaviyo campaign dollar per, like there's something tied within your Klaviyo
Yes,
dashboard
yes,
or
yes.
your email dashboard. It's not, this isn't a Klaviyo thing. This is, here's a metric. And what we try to test for is incrementality. So it's not, can we make that number go up, but is it, how do we make sure that we send an email to somebody when they're most likely, when email is the action that will actually get them to take steps towards making a purchase. And so in that wine example, when you dropped it from 4 to 3, maybe the email attributed revenue went down, but did the total revenue of the company go down also? Like, was it
Yes,
really
yes.
email that was,
They were focusing on the the 4 emails per day. They were used different. I believe they were using SendGrid, so they had kind of two different ESPs for lower.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Got
they
it.
were counting number of orders,
Okay.
not the
Incrementality.
attributed revenue. Yeah.
Got it, got it,
So
got
they
it.
were,
Thank you.
and they spent $0 on ads, so it was very, very easy to
That was
track
the
Oh,
because
wow.
Cool.
they use sweepstake like giveaways and email marketing, so it was easy to track.
Super cool.
It's funny you mentioned under they use sweepstake giveaways because I think that's the only exception that I have seen that if you do more emails in like a sweepstake scenario, then people like gamify it, right? It's a little different. Historically, though, I would say more brands, it's like intentionality and making sure you're following up on that data around it. And then you can do it where if you're sending 4 emails a day, but they're not going to the same person, the moment someone opens one, you don't want to be sending them another and another and another. Then you just feel like, the person that you're dating that tries to call you 100 times and then you're like, oh, shut off. This is scary.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole
Or you
different
just give
ball
up,
game.
or
We
you
have
just give
Right.
up and go.
Right.
Yeah. I
But
think
but it can impact the brand. Like the storytelling has to come back to again, what is the brand's identity and what do you want to say in the world and then being very consistent and clear on that. Like I think Apple does that world class, right? Why
Yeah.
does Apple prep people like something's coming, for so long and then of course they have a line out the door to buy their new iPhone. Like the concept that we have to get around is not just like giving a bunch of like context out there. I think the future of those companies that are going to scale well with this are leveraging all the tools like AI and then getting very prescriptive and personalized on how they're doing it and making sure that they're delivered and that it's a message that that person's going to want.
yeah.
So I could be like, Andriy, did you send out 4 emails today? By the way, like I only wanted one. Like if I sent that to you, how much more engaged would you be than to the person that's like, okay, Carla, you want to have like a personalized experience for your home, XYZ,
Yeah.
there's a lot you
But
could do with that.
I feel like there's
I
something interesting too about sweepstakes that I'm curious about, Andre, because we have clients who want to use sweepstakes for list growth, but we typically find when it's used for list growth that LTV is significantly lower or they don't actually convert. And then you've got all your metrics in balance, right? Because we've padded your list with a lot of people who have some interest in the brand but aren't interested in purchasing. So like how do you make that distinction between like what is it like product AOV? Like when do you recommend a sweepstakes? I think that's for Chelsea and Andre. Like how do you find that balance between sweepstake use but then also they're a point of diminishing returns.
That was one company where sweepstake was successful. All other sweepstakes, as you said,
Yeah. Okay.
we
They were.
used to work with a watch company. They make watches from wood,
Oh, wow.
and they were growing like 200,000 email subscribers per month.
Wow.
But it was extremely unsuccessful from a revenue perspective, because we noticed a bunch of kids were signing up to win something, but they
Yep.
didn't have money to buy.
Yeah.
So it's like useless leads.
Yeah, Carla, I think that brings up a really good point because sweepstakes historically are not good lifetime values. It's just like we saw this in COVID days, right? Like the people that just signed up for free trials and stuff would cancel usually right away. Like it's just that in interest like scenarios. So it can be good for technically growing numbers, but on a holistic view, you have to look at the customer lifetime value and the long-term like effect. And I think that's still that traditional like strategy around like what are you solving for a customer in terms of your problem and what does your product actually do for them. Don't talk about yourself. It comes back to kind of that brand storytelling of like what can you do for me, like what is this going to solve in that scenario, like you said, even on the watch company, like watch this to tell time, what can you do for me, like giving that clarity as opposed to always stating here's what I do, here's our sale, here's our thing. I think a lot of brands would be better in flipping that on its head and talking more about like the problem that you're solving. And you see this in the big brands for sure, right? Like Nike, like they never show really like shoes and stuff in that. We just see like the active runner, the person doing something, or like it draws you in to want to be part of that, right? And I think that's really where we're seeing the future of buying happening is on an emotional level from a brand standpoint. So if we can emotionally tie them into something, we're going to have much better click rates and conversion rates.
I love that.
I think about that same thing from an entire customer journey. So that also ties to what is your shipping notification? Do you give good information when there's a question? What's your customer success philosophy? Does your packaging include something personalized?
Yeah.
Right? Like, is it truly end to end? One of my, the CMO at my brand that I ran for like forever ago, always told me like your brand is only as strong as its weakest touch point. And I think when we think about marketing, there's only so much, right? And you're talking about LTV. Imagine like everybody on this call has done the perfect job, right? And then all of a sudden like the packaging is garbage, or like the customer, like there's an issue with shipping, which will happen,
Right.
but then like the customer success or customer support team is not caring and loving and like tied to what the brand is. That has such a detrimental effect, right? Because it's also like word of mouth that's missed, etc. Carla, I want to go back to you for a minute to talk about technologies. Take this however you want to. You don't have to like say, oh, we love these guys, but like, what are some problems that you're thinking about solving, or like, what are some tools that you're experimenting with? They don't have to be AI, but if there's something AI, you get bonus points because it's cool right now.
Yeah. One of the things, and I'm sure Andriy and Chelsea do this too, is we try to make sure that our clients are getting the most out of their current tech investments and stacks. And so I think a lot of what we're doing is, right, there's a lot of newness that came out with Klaviyo around the new data and being able to understand cohorts and buying behaviors. And so one of the things we really look to do is make people stickier in the platforms that they're in, but then use that in a way that they haven't thought of. So to kind of answer your question, one of the things we're really working on, and it feels counterintuitive because it's not necessarily new, but we're really using strong segmentation and feeding that back to media. So one of the things that we're really working on is ensuring the integration between Meta and ESPs, and how do we use, right, like what we find when our clients use Orita to create really strong segments of either lookalike modeling, suppressions, retargeting. If someone's gone through a re-engagement campaign and they're not engaged, we want to make sure that is getting fed back up to media. So I think in terms of technology, we're just trying to kind of use the basics right now, because what we keep hearing is no one has any money and they're looking for consolidation. So I think those are the kind of big ones that we're using, and obviously there's AI built into all of those.
I love it. Andriy,
Aaron,
please.
I realized that I didn't answer your question because I asked Chelsea a question.
That was
Sorry.
great.
So we, in the last 3 months already, we start to use Maverick AI, and we love their optimizer for subject lines. So instead of writing subject lines, we inserting their codes, which dynamically testing nonstop 24/7 the subject line. So now we don't even write copy for subject line and preview tests because AI personalize the subject line per person, not per. So it's just easier for us as like Orita in terms of like deliverability and list hygiene. Same thing, another tool does it for subject line. And also, last call you had with Zach from a Sidekick, and we love Hyro. Their analytic tools, we use them for all our clients. It's like analytic tool for email marketing on steroids, and all our team love it.
Can I just say I'm stunned you watched one of our calls, so this is cool. I mean, Zach is the best. Zach's not the best. He's not better than any of you guys, but Hero Analytics is. I was talking to my co-founder this morning about just how fast those guys are growing, and it's unbelievable. It is such a cool tool for agents. I see you all nodding. Okay, you all know about this. I love it. Chelsea, technology. Take this out.
I love the tech conversation, and Carla, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, people are feeling overwhelmed by how much technology it is. In fact, even in our capabilities deck, I have this slide that shows all the app ecosystem that looks like anxiety driven, and then you go to a simplistic, like, we need to simplify. Here's what we're looking at. Because the reality is most brands are only using 10% of the SaaS that they actually are paying for. So if they get true experts involved to optimize those SaaS technologies and apps, like, so much more is possible, and then you don't need to do like as much. And then the other problem from a development like technology standpoint is people don't realize all of those apps that they've added and done different stuff interject code into their theme that slows the site down, that slows the interjections down, that slows a lot of the API connections. So that's also hurting your performance and your customer data. So it's like my philosophy on this whole Sunny Road realm is very much like clean house, like clean your deck, clean your stack, make sure you feel like really good about the future that you're going on, because the future is bright and sunny if we can really make sure we're optimizing the things that actually matter and not just like feeling overwhelmed by all the tech and shut down, or trying every AI under the sun and thinking it's going to like, make you coffee and open the door for you. Like, I think our expectations and our reality needs to be a little more in check of like, optimize the ones that actually matter and use the tools that are recommended by experts. There's a reason Andriy, Carla, and I are in this every single day. I cannot tell you, even in my 2 decades of doing this in e-commerce, like, I learn new things every day. And that's an important factor to be as an expert in this space, is to really be curious and to be thoughtful, but also like, don't just try everything and feel like it's going to work for you. Like, take expert advice. I myself and our whole team, we have tried everything under the sun. We're constantly trying and we're innovating to do that for you. So you don't have to have the headache of feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to go try all these things or research how to do API connections for this. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. If I can encourage everyone on tech, is leverage experts and simplify. Like, the more that we have strategic conversations of what are you trying to do and why, the better you're going to actually build that foundation for the first place. And the whole market has changed. Like, Carly, I loved how you said 6 months ago, my answer was different. A year ago, I was doing website builds for 6 months with the whole bespoke stuff. Now we have to do it in half the time with better design and with better integrations. Like, that in 1 year's time, I had to completely rehab our whole team and system, because now not Shopify is saying you can migrate a whole massive company in 90 days or less on platform. Like, that's a big, big shift. And I don't think we're taking the time to like actually all see, like, look at this, guys. Like, it doesn't matter how fast you can do it if it's not done right. Yeah. You're going to lose your money, lose your investment if you don't build it right from the beginning and build it with that bespoke in mind. Like, only add what you need. It's just like your closet, right? How many times have we thrown out clothes that we don't need? Because it's like, well, maybe if I went down a capsule wardrobe, I'd feel better. Like, I don't know. Like, you can tell I'm kind of in this mode.
as a SaaS provider, I think you should buy every SaaS company out there, and you should just trust their ROI
Or
metric.
invest more in Orita because
That's right.
it's one
Just
that
actually,
works.
sorry, I'm wrong. You should
Let's
consolidate
free up
100% of your.
budget, get rid of these other things, free up
You don't need
budget so that,
loyalty. You don't
yeah.
need reviews. Um,
No.
I, I, I think, look, honestly, I mean, taking a step back, thank you, Carla, that's a really good pitch. Chelsea, couldn't agree more. I like before co-founding Arita, I spent a lot of time advising a bunch of brands and advising a lot of commerce tech companies. Like I'm just kind of been in the mix for a while. That's the gray hair. Um, my the thing that I see with 99% of companies is they forget about they always talk about what they do. And Carla, you kind of mentioned this earlier too, but it's like, what is the job to be done? And I think figuring out what it is that the brand actually cares about and why, like saying AI or saying ML or saying technology or saying any of this stuff, it's like, what is the actual core metric that you're driving, or what is the leverage that you're giving to the team that is utilizing you? And it's obvious when we say it, but I don't know. I feel like that is what I'm hearing from all three of you is like, there is no like best technology. There's like the right technology for the right customer at the right time to solve the need that they have then. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
No,
But obviously, Arita, I hear you all. I know it. Thank you. We have a couple minutes left. We can go a lot of different ways. I can create an opportunity for you all to share like one really big insight. I am always curious from an agency side, what is the mentality of your best customers? And I don't mean, oh, they're brilliant and they know everything, but is it growth mindset? Is it people who are like, look, we do things this way, but we're willing to experiment, or we want to try new technology?
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of open the floor. Carla, I'm gonna start with you. You can go down that path and we can see where it goes.
Yeah, I would say the clients that are the most successful and the ones who we are able to do the most for are the ones who do not let their branding get in the way of user experience. And so I think oftentimes when we think about things like web safe fonts, we often will miss opportunities because a creative team has a really strong feeling that the customer is going to know the difference between these almost identical sans serif fonts. And so the clients who trust us that the overall user experience and inbox deliverability should be a priority over parts of branding, we typically find the most success with.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you. Andriy, I want to turn to you. You can go down mentality or share any other insights you want.
No, I just want to kind of continue what Carlos says. I would agree. It's like if clients, we have a success with clients who do the approval much quicker. It feels like retention is not their like top priority. Everybody focus their dollars and attention on acquisition, and retention sometimes takes us weeks to get approvals, which delay the project. So this is one thing and that I see. And second, what Carla said about creative team, like we need to move that thing one pixel right, one pixel up, and like visually it's even hard to see what the difference is. But they are so strict about those pixel things that sometimes also delay the project. So when people are aware, brands a little bit open-minded to that, or have a little bit like wiggle room, it's easier. They are more successful because they move faster.
Yeah.
Thank you. Chelsea, last
It
word.
was my time.
I love this conversation because I also believe that like you got to just trust the team and the process. Like you hire experts for a reason, and we have your best in mind. I think anybody that especially on this call, we're all like client focused and brand focused for their success. And I think sometimes people get in the weeds because they feel like they don't understand or it's moving too fast or something. Let us do our job and like approve, yeah, the roadmaps, the different things. The beautiful thing about Sunny Road is that bright sunniness that we want to stay in sun, but then it's an ode to like roadmaps. Like we take you on a journey. A website is launched, never finished. Like we need to do things in a prescriptive manner. And if online is leading everything, like let us like take you on that journey and let the time like to show you that true proof. And I think that's the other thing that I would just emphasize to people, especially like beautiful things can happen quickly. Like Orita has an incredible implementation that we're able to see results fast, but you also need to realize what fast is and what we're taking you on in a journey, because it's going to be better 3 months, 6 months longer, because you're putting these like checks into place, right? Everything builds on each other. And I think that would be my intention, as well as like, honestly, if something is broken, if you feel like there's some bugs in your site or different stuff, remember it's all connected and it all affects one another. So that bug could affect something else somewhere. So really have to get experts involved to understand that better, or you're going to have a world of hurt down the road.
I love the framing from all three of you. I think the thing I would just kind of like double click on with what you just said is when you're working with a partner, like everybody wants immediate ROI, but it's actually worth just like taking a step back and don't choose a partner if all you care about is immediate ROI. You're probably not ready, right? Because like sometimes you need to take a little short-term pain for the medium and long term, right? So it's like actually we need to fix some stuff, or going back to the example from Andriy earlier, like we actually might need to make a little bit less revenue today to make a lot more revenue in a month and a quarter, right? And that is brand by brand, and like there are different objectives. It may not always be about the revenue side, right? It like could just be like the customer love side, because that is the company strategy. And I think,
but Aaron, I think that's important from a mindset standpoint. It's like changing it into an investor, right? Like you will need to put money in and leave it for a while. Don't just keep changing all the things and getting stressed.
No, for sure. One of the questions we always ask our like prospective customers is like, if you could give up $1,000 in revenue tomorrow to make $2,000 in a month, would you do it? And it is very telling. And there's not a right or wrong answer. There's like pressure from the CEO or the board, or the business needs it, or that's what you're goaled on. And so we always dive in on that. Okay. Thank you all. I learned a ton. I literally have a page full of notes, which is great. I will have follow-up questions for each of you. Can't thank you enough for your time this morning.
Wonderful. Good spending time with you.
Bye.